Well, we welcome you again to another time together in the book of Proverbs. And today in Proverbs chapter 10, we are going to actually be talking about our words, our mouth, how we speak. And this, I think, is really important, that we learn the power of the tongue. James says that the tongue can put a whole forest on fire, one little spark, and the tongue is like that. So I've selected several verses out of chapter 10 that have to do with our mouth or the way we speak. So let's just jump into it. In the book of Proverbs chapter 10, and we'll start with verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. So notice the mouth of the righteous is a well of life. When you speak, are you speaking life? When people hear you speak, do they feel like some kind of spiritual, emotional life has been imparted to them? Or do they feel like they've somehow been abused or put down or ridiculed? So make sure you're speaking words of life. Look at verse 13. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. So if you're truly wise, that's going to come out your mouth. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding. If you've sought God and you've read his word, you've studied his word, you've been teachable, you have God's truth in your heart, well, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. And so wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding. Verse 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So there's a negative. The mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Verse 19 goes kind of along with that. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. In other words, if you talk a lot, you're going to eventually say things you ought not be saying. Learn to control your words. Make sure our words are life-giving and positive words. Even when there's a time to correct and rebuke, we do so in a way that builds someone up. Well, then we also see in verse 20, the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. That was verse 21. And so there we see the lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. That's verse 21. So when we speak words, are they life to people? Do they feed people? Do they edify? Do they build up people? God help us with our words. Then in verse 31, we'll just take a few more verses here. Verse 31, the mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. And so there's that contrast again. The lips, and this is verse 32, the lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked, what is perverse. God is concerned about our words. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and we will give an account for every idle word. So let our words be words that are words of life, words that come from a heart of understanding or wisdom. And here's a passage from the New Testament that I find very helpful. It is found in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. He says this, let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. Wow. Let me speak words that minister grace to the hearers. Let me speak words that build up for the necessary edification, and not corrupt words that tear down. So Lord, we need to pray this prayer. Lord, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. The man, the woman who's on the way of wisdom watches their words. God bless you today.